Welcome to the Retro Video Store Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Video Store Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
And that's my co-host, Neil.
I'm Neil. And who is doing his best ninja impression by not being seen by us?
That would be David.
The Great White Ninja.
He didn't sound too keen on doing this episode anyway, so he's probably figured out a way to be busy.
Well, that leads me to my little theory. You want to hear my theory?
Mm-hmm.
Dave can suck it.
If you accidentally hear me slip into an English accent, tell me to stop. I watch this stupid series, and I'll tell you, it's a series. I only watched the last 2 episodes, called The Couple Next Door. It's on Stars. It was a British series about, murder and couples and shenanigans and all this kind of stuff like that. But they had all really thick accents.
Murder couples. It's murder couples. It's a murder couple show.
Like one guy, the couples, maybe one guy likes the other girl, the other spouse from the other couple a little too much, and they decide you can have sex with him, and then one gets obsessed, and the other guy's a cop, and it's full of drama. But they had really thick English accents, and it's been stuck in my brain, and I needed to stop talking in an English accent.
They had the drama.
Drama.
Oh, before we start chatting, because I enjoyed this so much, you're getting a tour of the living room here, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Can you see what's on the TV right now?
You are watching Revenge of the Ninja on the TV right now.
Yeah.
Grandma's about to get her...
Grandma's about to get hers. Grandma's about to not be here.
Yeah, she's about to bite it. But yeah, so we're taking the opportunity to revisit one of our favorite movies of the 80s. One of the very influential movie on us as kids. I was 10 when this movie came out and loved the shit out of it. Neil was probably about 11.
Mm-hmm.
And we really love this movie. And we did this episode way back in July 25th of 2020. So it's been almost 5 years since we talked about this. Isn't that crazy? They've been doing this for 5 years. Screaming into the void for 5 years.
Wow. I can't believe now I'm 26, 21 when we started. Crazy.
Yeah. But we're talking about Revenge of the Ninja from 1983 and an amazing movie from the Cannon Group. If you have not seen it, you've got to see it. It is amazing. It's on streaming on MGM Plus. If you have YouTube TV, you can get that. You can find it as well. It's on Pluto, I think.
Tubi,
yes. Tubi, the purveyors of all quality cinema.
They actually have some really good stuff right now. Everything, everywhere, all at once. They got some really good movies on here. I was cruising around before we started here. It was at a super long weekend. I wasn't home all weekend, and that's why we're recording late. Why Dave's not here, but I'm tired, man. So I was just sitting on the couch flipping through Tubi movies. I was letting the meds
selection
kick in. I had myself that had a little surgery, so I'm letting the painkillers kick in.
Yeah, my stomach hurts, and I had to take some Pepto-Bismol, hoping not to crap my pants. So
I'm sorry having my flesh pureed and stitched.
Yours is way worse, but I'm just saying that,
I think all things considered, I would rather be shitting my pants because I could set this thing on the toilet and just sit and talk to you and be a happy man.
If I get up and run away, it's because I've shit myself.
I'll do stream of consciousness. I'll just keep going back. You can come on. I'll give my opinions on the film.
Yeah. But let's do what we always do. Neil, what did you watch this week?
I think did I talk about Sinners last time? Went and watched Sinners.
Yes.
We did talk about it?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did. We did talk about it. Okay. Well, there was a great big shindiggy get together this weekend for bagpipes and bagpipe related things. So spent a lot of time getting ready for that. And then that was basically all weekend. So I didn't really watch much. I watched a few series that my wife likes, and a baking show, but I didn't really watch any movies, and I'm hoping to catch up because now my wife is out of town. She's in Iceland. So
Mhm.
now I can watch whatever I want without anybody complaining. Eric, you are safe this week, my man. I can watch any movie.
All right. Well, next week we're going to be talking about Event Horizon. So
I know. You know what, dude? I should wait till she gets back because she actually likes that movie.
Mhm.
Wait. I got my Scottish swag on here. You got to see that there. Boop.
Clan. Yeah.
For my clan.
What are your clan?
Not that clan. Not the pointy hat clan. That's from the south.
Yep.
This is from much further east.
Mhm.
As a middle-aged white guy, I really got to clarify that.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, I
Clan
really do.
with a no K involved in there. A C.
Well, I mean, obviously you watch some stuff, and I can't. There's not going to be an awkward silence because Dave won't fill it. Damn it! So
Yeah.
we're ruining my
I
fun
watched
for the
a
week.
lot of stuff this week. I watched a lot of stuff. It's kind of crazy. Well, first of all, I went and saw the Silver Sun Pickups live on a Tuesday. So like the 29th, I think it was. So
They're a thing still.
yeah, they were good, man. It was probably one of the best concerts I've seen in ages. They were so good.
No, I mean they're still putting out album. They had that
Yeah.
the one song with the bass thing that was popular for a while.
Well, Lazy Eye is like their most popular song, and that's like 15 years ago. But they keep putting out new music, and they played 3 shows in Colorado in like 3 nights. They played one in Boulder, one in Fort Collins, and they came down to Colorado Springs, and they're playing like clubs. You know, they could play like one big show in like Denver, but they decided to like, you know, go to play some clubs, and it was sold out, and it was a lot of fun. And it's probably one of the better concerts I've seen in a long time. It was on a Tuesday night, so I actually had to go in late the next morning because I didn't want to go in at normal time because I can't do that anymore. I'm not a young man.
How was the marijuana situation? That's the one thing.
Wasn't that bad?
It wasn't bad. Because that's the
Wasn't
one
terrible.
thing that keeps me away from large venues. Is man, I don't like. I'm not opposed to it. If you want to smoke it, do that. I don't care, but I just don't. I don't take like bourbon and pour it down your throat. But
Well,
it's
the month
it's
before,
all
I saw the band, the Expendables, and they're like a white boy reggae band, and the
Oh.
weed was plentiful. It was my eyes were stinging afterwards.
it just takes the joy out of it when it's like a
Yeah.
fog.
Yeah, it was bad. So yeah, and I watched a terrible. I wouldn't say terrible. Well, I watched 2 movies. One was Copycat, that serial killer movie with Sigourney Weaver and Henry Connick Jr.
Can I get a pair of them squirrel covers?
I knew you would say that. And overall, it wasn't
I'm as constant as the Northern Star, so you better appreciate that.
squirrel covers. Yes,
A pair of them squirrel covers.
it wasn't terrible, but I think that it came out the same year as Seven, and Seven is 10 times the movie that Copycat is.
Yeah.
And
The scariest thing in that movie, I'm gonna interrupt you because that's what I do, damn it, is just the amount of time and care that the good doctor took to put toilet paper down on that seat. At that
Yes.
point, I was ready to axe her right there.
I know, and there was a thing of ass gaskets right there. She just didn't have to,
Just take the ass gasket off.
Yeah.
Make sure the little thing flaps down on the front and you're good to go. The one thing I will say, I hate ass gaskets on automatic flush toilets
Mhm.
because you put the ass gasket down and then you turn around and then all of a sudden it's like, it
Yeah.
goes and then there goes my ass gasket.
It's not good. Then I watched a murder mystery movie from the 80s called Suspect with Dennis Quaid, Liam Neeson, and Cher,
Yep.
where Liam Neeson plays a deaf and dumb homeless man.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Yep. I remember that movie. I've seen
it
it.
actually wasn't too bad. It was not that bad. It had good. It was the writing was actually pretty good. It was very 80s, and you had to buy Cher as an attorney, but it wasn't bad.
If I could get a sidebar.
If you believe, yeah, it was. Liam Neeson was really selling it as the grungy a homeless guy who would just go off in a moment's notice, and and it was really good until the end, where everything kind of unraveled when you found out John Mahoney's judge set up this girl in the law office to be murdered, and the plot was all convoluted and stuff. It kind of fell apart at the end, but I really liked, up to that point. It wasn't bad.
All right, then. And now we know.
80s legal thrillers. Like, remember The Jagged Edge and like the Star Chamber and The Verdict? There's a lot of 80s.
There was one with Richard Gere and Keith David, where there like a weight was used to kill somebody. And I think maybe it was Sharon Stone that was trying to set him up, but it had one of the best all right, first off, Keith David's voice and Keith David's delivery was so great. But she's getting ready to hand the evidence over, and Richard Gere's hauling ass, and he grabs it right before he hands it to him. And his character was a detective, and he just looks at him and goes, "You're a smart motherfucker, ain't you?" That's the only bit that's stuck in my head.
And I'll show you a movie that I got on Blu-ray today, or Blu-ray this week. Possession.
Let's see it. Okay. Did you buy that for the content of the film or just for the cover art?
For the content of the film, this is one of the most disturbing horror movies of all time. Came out in 1981. Sam Neill, Isabella Adjani. It's fucked up. And I had not seen, I've only heard of it, and it was in a really chopped up version for America, and it was on Shudder, and I watched it on Shudder, and it stuck with me as one of the most disturbing movies that I have ever seen. Really just kind of I thought about it for like weeks and weeks after I had watched it. It is really, really good.
Possession. Huh?
Yeah, 1981.
Okay. Well, I am going as we speak because I have this wonderful movie playing in the background. I feel like it's when we talk to Dave and Dave's trying to watch football at the same time we're talking about movies. I want to talk about the movie and have the movie on. Normally, because I'm in the living room right now. This is something I normally don't get to do. This is unique. I'm enjoying this because I can look at stuff while we do it. But you keep talking because I'm going to try to find Possession. You said it's on Shudder, yeah?
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna find that. So let's go.
It's a good one. Yeah. Anyway, this is a rare opportunity. We do it a couple times a year. We go back to some movies that we really enjoyed and try to give it another go. And I think that we'll eventually do another redo of Conan the Barbarian, probably RoboCop, maybe Children of the Corn or something like that. Something that we were really, really kind of green when we first started doing the podcast, and didn't really know what the hell we were doing. So I think our Revenge of the Ninja deserves a second look. So I figure that we will do that and enjoy one of the more influential movies of the school ground when you were 10. There was
everybody wanted to be a ninja.
Hell yeah. Everybody wanted to be a ninja. Everybody went to the flea market and got themselves some nunchucks, some throwing stars, butterfly knife. Then you had to, if you're really cool, you got the little things that went on your gloves, that you could climb up the wall. The little the gloves with the little sticky outy parts to go up the wall. That was yeah.
Always dreamed about that, but what the hell what would we have climbed where we lived?
The Grace B. Wilson Elementary School.
That's right. The sagebrush only grew so tall, and then you had to go all the way down the irrigation ditch to maybe even find a tree.
But maybe you just wanted to like jab it into somebody's head, and the blood would spurt out.
Well, that according to this movie, that'd be enough to kill him.
Yes.
A cut to the knee, shuriken in the eyeball. This is just long enough to get to the brain. Just like the tip, a little bit of the tip.
It must pass through the gate of the eye.
The eye, yeah, the gate of the eye. Yeah. That sounds like the worst. Like some guy trying to rizz with the tism. My good lady, your eye gates look exceptional tonight.
Do you want to hit us with the Internet Movie Database tagline there?
After ninjas killed his family, Cho and his son Kane, which I figured being Japanese would be Kane Come to America to start a new life. He opens a doll shop, but is unwittingly importing heroin in the dolls. When his friend betrays him, Cho must prepare for the ultimate battle. He did not open a doll shop. He was opening a
Art
gallery. He was opening a gallery where they sold dolls.
Yeah, it wasn't like an American Girl, shop. It was like, art.
Art. Right. Kokeshis. They're selling kokeshis. Okay, so this leads me to a question. So when Little Miss decides to go on a date with our evil ninja, okay, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. We're talking about this. People have already seen this movie. Ever in your life, having cut yourself on something, did you ever startle and go, ah, and then suck on your finger? Have you ever done that? Do you know anybody that's ever done that?
Usually, no. It's not gonna
Have you
put
known
blood in my
anybody
mouth.
who's ever cut themselves and go,
Yeah.
I've cut myself? Never?
No.
Yeah. It's always like, shit. And you try to squeeze it to keep it from bleeding.
Yeah. You hold on,
Right.
get a napkin or a Kleenex and just hold it on there.
Sit there and squeeze.
Yeah.
All right. That was, I don't know. That part really bugged me for this time around, and I don't know why. I was like, who the hell does that?
So this movie was directed by Sam Furstenberg. Sam Furstenberg was he directed a lot of canon movies. He did Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, The Domination, which is just perfect.
Yes, sir.
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, American Ninja, Avenging Force, American Ninja 2, The Confrontation. He did Delta Force 3, American Samurai, Cyborg Cop 2, Operation Delta Force. Yeah, so The Last Kumite. This guy was responsible for a lot. Kumite. This guy is responsible for a lot of some great B movies. Stuff that you rented and watched and enjoyed. When did you first see this movie, Neil?
Oh, son of a bitch, when it first came out. Now, this is one, I don't remember if we saw this one originally on this, because this one is fuzzy. Mm-hmm. I don't remember if this was a drive-in one or if this was a VHS one. I know I watched it many times on VHS, but I have vague memories of seeing this with my mom. Yeah.
This was definitely a VHS find for me, walking around the old video store, seeing this cover. This cover is amazing. And I'm probably screamed for my dad to rent this. Please, Revenge of the Ninja. Let's see this. It was just amazing. And I loved it. It fulfilled everything I wanted to happen in a ninja movie when you're 10.
And there were boobs. Oh, look, we got a visitor. We got a visitor.
Boobs. I see your kitty back there.
That's my wife's cat, not my cat. Let's not put me in that.
So this was written by James Silk and produced by Menahem Golan and Jorn Glowis.
Bless their hearts.
Canon Films.
All right, and here's something that makes me sad. What was one of the presents you got me?
I got you a Canon Films t-shirt.
You did. Mm-hmm. You did. Which I wear when it's t-shirty weather, right?
Yeah.
Break out the Canon Films. God, where did we stop? Oh, okay. This is a long story, but here we go. I decided to stop at Dunkin' Donuts on my way into work. Okay. I can dress very casually, have on my Canon t-shirt. At Dunkin' Donuts, they have this thing called snack bacon.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a packet of bacon.
Yeah.
And they put crystallized sugar on it.
Yep.
It's amazing. There's no health benefits whatsoever. It just goes great with a cup of coffee. It's just bacon, hatred, coffee, beautiful. Kid on the counter looks at me, goes, "What's Canon?"
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
These poor children. What's Canon?
They're missing out. They're missing out on movies like Zebra Force, Little Girl, Big T's, a softcore sexploitation film, Well, let's talk about Canon a little bit. It was before the Golan, Menahem Golan and Yoram Golbus bought it. It was a kind of a started out in 1967, and they did a lot of softcore movies. So there's quite a few of those. Winter Comes Early, the young Playmates,
Winter.
and then in the 80s, Golan and Globus bought Canon Pictures, and this is when they really started making some trash. There was a movie called Lemon Popsicle, which is an Israeli sex comedy, coming of age sex comedy, which was remade in the United States as The Last American Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more sad, depressing teenage sex comedies of all time. But when they started, they got The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood, Schizoid, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hype, and then The Apple, which is one of the craziest, like, psychedelic musical movies, Then New Year's Evil, Enter the Ninja from 1981, which we have done. That was the very first episode of the podcast we've ever done. And we've done that, redo on that one as well. That is just, if you have not seen Enter the Ninja, you must see it because it is what kicked off the ninja craze in the 80s. Of course, you can argue that the Octagon with Chuck Norris preceded it with the ninjas, but I think Enter the Ninja really kind of was the one that, made it explode. Then they did Death Wish 2, Lady Chatterley's Lover with Sylvia Crystal. I remember watching that on the movie channel late at night, probably way before I should have. Look at the poster for Nana from 1983.
Nana.
And you'll see the type of movies that Canon produced.
That's a butt crack.
Nana, the true key of pleasure. You may not be looking at the one I'm looking. It's a girl with a lot of cleavage.
Well, there's several. Well, I mean, here's one where the title is basically put where the pubic hair would be.
Oh.
And then this one is someone laying back, and all you can kind of see is a little butt crack.
This one is the lady has she has like a comely look, and her hands are covering her boobs. But in 1983, they did a movie called Hercules, where
Hercules,
Lou Ferrigno punches a bear into space. They did Revenge of the Ninja, Break-In in 1984.
True classic.
Yeah, Bolero with Bo Derek in 1984 as well. The Exterminator 2, Ninja 3, The Domination, Missing in Action, Hot Resort, Rappin'. Then they did Life Force with the naked space vampire.
Yep. That was a life-changing movie for you.
Yes, American Ninja, King Solomon's Mines, The Delta Force, Invasion USA, which is amazing. I think I sent you. Did I send you an Instagram reel of Invasion USA where the guy, the villain, shoots the guy's dick off?
Many times. Speaking of reels, did I send you the simulation? There's a whole thing going on right now. Like how many guys would it take? excuse me, to defeat 100 gorillas?
How many? Can 100 men beat one silverback gorilla?
Oh, one silverback gorilla. Okay, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one of Chuck Norris fighting 100 silverback gorillas.
Oh, that's funny. I haven't seen that one. You have to send that to me.
Okay, and I'm going to give you a little hint. Chuck Norris fucks those gorillas up.
So this movie was released in 1983, $700,000 budget, but made $14 million at the box office. That's a heck of a return on investment, and that doesn't even include rentals. This movie, I mean, we rented the shit out of this movie. I can't even tell you how many times
rented the what? The shit.
The shit out of this movie. I can't tell you how many times I rented this movie. And you want to know something that's interesting? there is no critical consensus for this movie.
Well, there wasn't the last time we talked about it. I didn't figure there would be this time. So wait, let's do the critical consensus. All right.
My consensus.
Out of two critics, Neil and Eric, it got 4.9 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, exactly. My consensus
indicating
is awesome.
Generally favorable reviews.
Fuck yeah. Eric of the Retro Video Store said, "This changed my life when I was 10 years old." So this has Sho Kosugi, who plays Cho Osaki. And Keith Vitale as David Hatcher. And Arthur Roberts as Braden. And Mario Gallo is Caifano, the Timu mafia guy.
Well, because when he's talking to his nephew, he does that. He does the hand gesture. He goes, "It's not natural. You look at yourself too much.
You look at yourself too much here.
It's not too much." Man,
I'm
if people
gonna
could
turn
see
the
this,
tables on this deal here.
we have got our hand gestures down to like perfection.
Bafagoo. And of course, it's got the lovely Ashley Ferrari as Kathy.
Ferrer.
And
she took the
Kane,
Rocher off her name. Actually, she shortened it up for it was the Ferraro Rocher, but she took that off.
Kane Kusugi.
It's not
is
the only
Kane
thing
Osaki.
she took. Not the only thing she took off in this movie, Eric.
Yes, she was a highlight of this movie.
She was highlighted. She had the highlights on.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the ninja craze. I included a couple of pictures that obviously, maybe I'll put them on Instagram, of Black Belt Magazine.
Oh, did you do notes for this?
Yes.
I don't think I didn't even check. I even checked email for them.
I see that you're logged into it.
No, I'm on the old ones.
Oh, this is the new one.
No, I'm on the old one, dude.
No, I think this is. I see that you're. Anyway, I included at the end of our notes pictures of Black Belt Magazine.
Oh, it opened up both.
Yeah, Brothers
Okay.
of the Ninja, Warriors of the Night. Black Belt Magazine is a magazine that my parents would never let me buy,
Thank God.
even though I desperately wanted to buy an issue of Black Belt Magazine.
See, the people that bought Black Belt Magazine are the same types of guys that have seminars in hotel ballrooms that like touch each other in 5 different ways, and then the guy passes out, and then they got to do the whole like whack him on the neck thing they do to wake him up.
Bullshito.
And then the dudes, you got to cross their legs, but the dudes are obviously helping a little bit.
Mhm.
That's what Black Belt Magazine was great for. Guys
think
like that.
There's a lot of crossover between Soldier of Fortune and Black Belt Magazine.
Just the complete level of horrific macho posturing and
Yeah.
posing. And yeah, if only your boy's doing the jujitsu, he's doing real martial arts. Get him into do him a little kickboxing, and then boom, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about ninjas.
Mm-hmm. And also did Ninja Magazine,
So bad.
Explosive Ninja, blowing away the odds. How the ninja disappear. Capture, don't kill, bring them back alive. The grappling hook, reeling in the enemy.
Get over here. That's how that
over
works.
here. Yeah.
Unless you're wearing like a yellow V-shaped vest, I am not worried about you as a ninja in the slightest.
Prepare to fight. Yeah, and one of the greatest ninja-based video games of all time,
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yep.
For NES. That game was freaking hard.
Yes, it was.
Difficult.
I don't know how many hours I wasted on that thing. I felt so lucky to get it.
But this is another digression before we even actually really talk about the movie is, remember how important the magazine section of the grocery store was?
Very.
Heck yeah. Because you had Mad Magazine, Cracked Magazine, you had some comic books, and your parents will let you sit there and while they went and shopped, So I would always looked at Mad and Cracked and looked a little bit at the Black Belt magazine. And then, my sister would be looking at Archie comics, and they had some comic books and stuff like that. Oh, they had Fangoria. If you were lucky, they had Fangoria there, and Starlog. Magazines were super important back in the day.
My favorite magazine rack, if we're going to go back in time, was Walden Books in the mall.
Oh, shit, yeah. Oh, my God.
Because if you were going to walk straight into the store, it was off to the left-hand side, and then they had new books over on the right.
Yep.
So you could look at the new books, and then go straight to it, because they had like a little A-framed kind of thing with books on it. Right next to that was the spinner rack of the comics.
Yep.
And then they had all the magazines that you were supposed to be able to look at on the bottom, and all the grown-uppy ones kind of in the upper right.
Yes. And what did they have up there? Penthouse.
Pornography, Eric. There was pornography.
Playboy, Hustler. Penthouse Forum. Variations. Yes. And if you knew the behavior of people, you would go in the back, and somebody had always placed a copy of Penthouse or something like that back in the corner.
Yep.
You
can peruse it.
Some previous perv would do you a solid, and then hopefully didn't leave any DNA on the magazine.
Yeah, when you say a perv does you a solid, I'm really thinking that's when the guy comes out in the camera crew. So what were you doing here?
Oh shit. Yeah. But Walden Books was the fucking best. That was just an amazing experience.
It was. And that was the good thing about it too, is because when we'd get dropped off, what an experience that was as a kid, that your parents would just drop you off at the mall.
Yeah.
With a few bucks to maybe get some fast food, get a drink, and leave you for hours. And we just walk laps, go to the bookstore, look at stuff.
Go to the arcade, go to the Fun Factory.
Yeah. Well, that depended on how hungry you were. Were you going to buy, a little bit of fast food, or were you going to go blow it all at the arcade?
You could buy a corn dog. Yeah.
Remember the Peanut Shack? That was a dream. That was a dream job. I only had it for a little while, but the Peanut Shack, although you could just scoop out the snacks that started my lifelong love for sesame sticks.
Yeah. Different time, man. Before the internet, where you had to go look at magazines. My favorite part of the bookstore was going to look at the D&D section.
Oh yeah,
the
artwork,
monster manual,
all the sketches in there. So cool. Yeah.
Goddamn monster manual.
So cool. You know what's cooler than that? Ninjas.
Ninjas, yes. Oh, remember they had like Oriental Adventures was a D&D book that you could get, and you could play as ninjas and shit like that. That was amazing. That was one of the great D&D books I never got as a kid, but always wanted.
Okay, you lost me with that one. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, you've got to look.
We're doing some Googling right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. That's bringing it back. I'm recognizing the cover art.
Yeah, it had a ninja fighting like this guy, the samurai on top of looked like some sort of steed, some Asian mythical steed. You can get it for $80. Now $130 for very good condition, $125 for very good plus, and $80 for fair condition.
Well, you know what? I've got memories now, so I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm going to save my $80 for something else.
Yeah, but that was I'm dumb enough to spend $80 on that.
I was just thinking, as soon as you started quoting prices, when am I going to get that text later in the week? Say, look what just came in the mail, Neil. I got the book.
I know. I have very little impulse control when it comes to buying something nostalgic.
I live vicariously through you. I'm like, I wish I had that, but I also know that if I started ordering stuff like that, that a nearly 30-year marriage would be over.
Going back to ninjas, one of the coolest gifts I ever received was from Neil, and it is displayed in this movie.
Yep,
a Ninja Star belt buckle.
Yepper.
That shit was the bomb. I was a chubby kid, so I know that I could probably never get that. I would just poke myself in the belly. Yeah, that was yeah.
But
Chubby, being chubby, limited you from things. Yeah.
it's such a cool belt buckle, though.
I know, it's fucking cool. It says ninja on it, and you can turn the star out of it.
Yep. And throw that thing. It only has to go like maybe a quarter of an inch into somebody, and they're dead.
How many time? I mean, did you set up your own? I think we talked about this in our previous podcast. You set up your own course in your backyard of like a place to throw your ninja stars, or your knives.
God, I had that one big silver one that was genuinely heavy. And that thing, because I had one of those old cable spools.
Mm-hmm.
We had found, just rolled back there, and I would chuck that thing in there as hard as I could. And so had some of the ones that were like, the pointy, like really narrow pointy star ones that were sharp. I think we even mentioned last time that was a rite of passage. You can't get stuff like that in California, but I sure as hell, when last time I was in New Mexico, made sure I got some throwing stars for my son, which we took out. I put up a piece of plywood and we were throwing them at it and having a great time. And then my son kind of missed his throw a little bit, and it skipped off and went into the neighbor's backyard. And I was just like, well, we're not telling mom about this. we're not telling mom about this. Let's take the one star we still have and let's go back inside.
That was some advanced shenanigans as a kid, because I have a dent in my forehead from where a BB bounced off the metal pole on the fence and hit me right in the forehead. I have a little divot.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
I know. I'm surprised I still have an eye, but that was I had my nunchucks back there. I had my Black Cat fireworks blowing shit up.
The nunchucks. It's basically like the testicle assaulter.
Yes,
That's all that
I remember.
is.
Hit myself in the head, hit myself in the nuts, pinching the fat between my thumb and my finger with it was just.
Oh, so good. So good.
So
Okay.
the movie starts off
great.
great. Yes.
Great. Just dead bodies everywhere. They just come in. They don't give a shit about who they're killing. Taking the kid out with a throwing star to the head.
Yes. Little kid,
Gone.
throwing star to the forehead. Grandma,
Gone.
dead. Wife, dead. Grandpa, dead.
And then here comes Kasugi, and he just wipes them all out. Because, and here's the problem with ninjutsu, is that they taught them to only attack one at a time and to slightly pause.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, punch. Oh, he's going to block that. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to do like this. Pause for a second. Let him block that. Okay. Like that. Best part.
Yes.
And
I love it.
I love the slow, purposeful attacks. It doesn't have the same sort of bouncy rhythm of like a good kung fu movie, that boom, 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 cha-chung, cha-chung, cha-chung. But it's just dealing with them all one at a time, just like lining them up like dominoes.
I just love, of course, our hero gets the chance to catch arrows in each of his hands and then in his mouth.
Our hero, spelled Hiro. Hiro.
Hero.
Yeah, okay. So he hit the fucking arrow in the mouth. It was so ridiculous and over the top. But how great was that? I love that the ninja is sitting there and it's like, you know what? I'm going to die. And I hope he spins the arrows around before he just jams these things into my vital organs. And then you just know he's like, oh, thank God I'm going out cool. Boom. 2 arrows right in.
Well, I remember a TV show called That's Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, Kathy Lee Crosby.
Kathy Lee Crosby.
Yeah. Crosby.
Yeah.
And that Fran Tarkenton and Ben Davidson.
Yes.
If you drop some toothpicks on the floor right now, I could look right at them and count them.
There was a show where they show people, they call That's Incredible. And there's 2 things I remember distinctly about That's Incredible. One was this yoga master who was like 7 foot tall, curl himself up into a little box and sit underwater.
God dang. My claustrophobia would kick in. I remember that gave me severe agita as a child. And it was all foggy in there. So it wasn't fake. He was fogging that thing up.
Yeah. And a supposed martial arts master catching arrows, but he kept screwing up at the beginning, and he finally caught like one just by like sheer luck. And they're like, "That's incredible!" And it was not that incredible. It was pretty lame. But those two things I remember distinctly, and but that's what entertained us as kids. Is that's incredible. So Cho has a partner named Braden who is going to help him escape Japan and start a new life in Japan. Cho's grandma is immediately sus, does not want to do this, but after the massacre of the family, he decides that he's going to move everybody and go to California and start an art gallery with the weirdest looking logo for an art gallery I've ever seen. What does it look like?
I'm sorry. I'm stuck with grandma. Grandma was so like, did not care. Like, your father died for this land. You're going to stay. And I just really was looking for him to like wave his hand around and just go, hey, who's cleaning this up? Who's cleaning this up? Look at all the dead people.
Yeah.
What are we doing with that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just pack up our shit and let's get going. The neighbors will come by when there's a stink and they'll go, we remember that guy. He was a quiet guy, a little bit of a loner.
So Cho decides he's not going to fight anymore, seals up his sword, takes him and his son and grandma to California to start an art gallery with a logo that looks like gigantic butt cheeks sitting on a spike. Yep.
That's not what I got from it, but I mean, if that's where your head goes.
Or boobs, depending on, your perspective. Yeah. And then there's a student of Cho's named Kathy who's hot to trot for Cho.
Who attacks him wearing a pair of pantyhose.
Yeah.
And
you seem to forgot your pants.
He's so weird. So bizarre.
But
your
wife is dead.
She needed a smoke bomb that didn't like, and then you can still see her, and then use that to attack.
The smoke bombs made me laugh so much because they barely put out any smoke, and people like are vanishing behind the smoke, and just.
But okay, so let's talk about vanishing. It was so glorious. These guys are like, they're popping out of the woodwork. It's like, instead of whack-a-mole, it's whack-a-ninja everywhere you go by. And then the one guy is so obvious behind the statue because he got a bright freaking red headband on and he's got more red. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you didn't notice me back there, did you? I'm going to climb down out of the bamboo forest. Did you not? Oh, you never noticed my red headband because I'm that good of a ninja.
Yeah, it seems like ninjas forget the most important part of being a ninja is stealth. There is no stealthiness in these ninjas. They just run out. And so they move to California, and it turns out Braden's not such a good guy. He's smuggling heroin in the dolls, and this is a very dumb scheme. Are the dolls coming from Japan and getting filled with heroin, or is he filling them?
California knows how to ninja.
Yeah, some nose candy.
They're importing it because obviously, heroin. The Asians, we're importing that.
So it turns out that Braden has a deal with the Timu godfather Kai Fano to get paid for the heroin smuggling, but Kai Fano says "Bafangul," and says that he's not going to pay him the money. So it turns out that Braden is a ninja too, and he is going to take out all these thugs left and right.
In Ninja 2, he's a ninja too.
Ninja as well. And who can take? What's the rule?
Well, I mean, if you got to get rid of him, you're going to need a ninja because only a ninja can kill a ninja.
Yes, that's the golden rule of these movies.
What about a nuclear bomb? Could that kill a ninja? What about a high-powered rifle from a distance?
Maybe.
Could that kill a ninja? Landmine? Okay, landmine, no, because that's going to go off. He's going to flip and shit and then land somewhere, put on his red headband. He's gone. You'll never see him again.
one of my favorite things is that one of Kai Fano's crew is like just having a picnic in a public park, and he goes into the restroom, and then
And
a
you
ninja
think it's going to
pops
go
out.
a different direction.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wondering what direction
That's
it's
not
going
the
to take.
strangest thing that's probably happened in
In that bathroom.
In that bathroom, and then he kills him, pretty easily, and then
And that's something that I have always wondered, because having done a martial art where I have had my arms wrapped around people's necks from time to time, I had wonder how hard it is to, if even possible, to grab somebody's head and to just snap that neck.
yes, apparently it's very easy in movies.
Oh yeah,
And
well, it's almost as easy getting a cut on your knee and then, oh my God, you're dead.
I remember there was some true crime thing where this guy and his girlfriend were both cadets in one of the military academies, and they wanted to kill this guy's old girlfriend, and they thought they would be able to kill her by doing the neck snap thing, and that they found out that they could not, and they wound up like bludgeoning her to death. But they've watched too many ninja movies because they thought they could do that.
That was a sad ass story you just told about someone being beaten to death.
I know. I just remember that.
Wow.
The only thing I remember is watching this like Forensic Files or something but they tried to snap her neck like that, and it didn't.
You
work.
made me Owen Wilson. That was so bad. Wow. Eric, that's really dark, man.
I know. I've been watching a lot of Dateline lately in 2020. I miss sports, man. I go down a deep rabbit hole of 80s movies, 80s court dramas, and true crime. Yeah. But the one part we were talking about earlier where Kai Fano's informant gets a ninja star through the eye.
And that wonderful fall backwards into the fountain. He just starts, and then he's like, uh-oh, this is not good. I got to stretch the arms out even farther before I go down. I got the appliance in my eye. I got to make sure I turn my head the correct direction. That was amazing.
Yes. And then there was some nudity. Kai Fano's nephew, who's like really into his looks, is having some really messy area sex with his girl in a hot tub, or just a bathtub. I don't think it's really a hot tub, but
I think
what were they doing?
I think it was kind of, I don't know, man, because it had that weird shape to it. It kind of the rectangle, then had the other little smaller rectangle on it.
But around the hot tub, there was like food, like peanuts, and just who's eating?
But think how genius that is. If that is their actual bathtub, okay, think about how genius that is. It's like if I want to have like a shower beer, okay, I got to figure out where I'm going to put it, because I don't know if it's the same way in your bathroom, being a married man, but it's nothing but different shampoo bottles, and types of soap. There's no room for anything. I have one bar of soap. If I put in the wrong place, oh my God, that's the end of it. But how great would it be? You're like, you know what, dude, long day, my muscles are hurting. I'm going to take a bath. But guess what? I got a little area right here. Have some snacks.
Yeah.
I could maybe put a computer and watch a movie. How fun would that be?
I did buy one of those JBL clip speakers so I can listen to music while I'm taking a shower. It's changed my life. It's amazing. Just Bluetooth it. It's waterproof. You can sit there and listen to music in the morning while you're showering. It's nice.
We got the little Google dudes that you plug in that you can ask
Google
like
Dots.
what the weather is and all that stuff. Yeah, we have that in there. I can tell when I get home, I know who's in the shower. If I hear the music, I know it's the missus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs some music.
Yeah.
But who's going to eat a bunch of trail mix? Next to a hot tub, it's going to be floating. If you drop some, it's just going to be floating in the hot tub. And
so don't drop. Be reasonable. Take it a few at a time. Don't get like a whole handful and try to,
popcorn.
Not the way you eat. Yeah, it's not the way you eat movie popcorn. It's like grabbing it, just trying to dump the whole
Smash
thing
in
in
your face. Yeah. So the cops turn to Cho to help investigate, and we got Karate Cop and yogurt eating lieutenant, who just has a bunch of containers of yogurt around. Maybe his gut biome is bad and he needs to, help himself out before Activia.
You get older, you got to do what it takes. You got to get the active cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, it's okay. So we're going to. Oh my God, we got to find some help with this. I know a guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does the martial arts. So we're going to go over how do you keep students if when they come in you beat the holy shit out of them.
Yeah.
You beat the shit out of them. Once someone's come in and they're dedicated and they're like, okay, then you start you amp it up a little bit and say, okay, playtime's over today. Today's going to be a little bit harder, but you don't purposefully go out of your way to hurt them. And you know those guys are new students because they don't have a damn uniform. The guy's showing up in like the shorty short shorts with the big long socks.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, this is like he came in for the free introductory lesson, but he got a free scoop of ass whooping with that as well.
A torn ACL and a concussion.
Yeah.
I love hired goons. Lots of aren't hero versus hired goons in this movie.
Especially I love the difference in what we would consider this is intimidating now to what we were supposed to be finding intimidating then.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's got to do with facial hair.
Yes. Well, of course, there's one guy who's like a Indian, Native American. You know, he's got the braids.
Dude,
the
you are Native American. You can say it however you want to. You don't have to be scared. To anybody listening, Eric can say whatever the hell he wants because he is.
I still say Indian, even though, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's not PC, but
I get corrected all the time because when we were kids, it was Indian, and I said that, and then man, I got jumped on. Actually, it's First People. Actually,
indigenous population.
Indigenous. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. When I was a kid. So here's what I do is I tell them like, I'm not racist when I say that because I have an Indian friend.
So lots and lots of set pieces where Cho is kind of getting his ass kicked. The people are stealing the dolls and he's, you know, fighting these random goons and he's getting drugged all over the place in this van.
Only friction can hurt a ninja.
I know. His freaking legs would be torn up.
Yeah, he'd look like pizza. Not just a few scratches. Mm-hmm. And they were so symmetrical. Great.
I just love the part where Kane, you know, Cho's son, sees the ninja after the ninja has killed his flipping grandma. And I do mean literally flipping grandma. I love the sound of agony that the grandma made when she got stabbed through the wall. Oh. So he hypnotizes Kathy with his glowing blue or the green glow ninja powers, and she has to go get Kane, and they have a little fight and stuff like that. Oh, he also fights the village people in the park.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah, with fans. And then that's where we see the ninja, the belt buckle. It's pretty awesome.
Were you not a fan of that part?
I wasn't. I was blown away.
Did you just wave it off?
You're doing pretty good. Hold on. Where? Oh, here. There we go. Yes.
Right, there it is.
But all this is leading up to the confrontation between Braden and Cho. And there's this the last third of the movie is infiltrating Kaifano's skyscraper, which is not really a skyscraper, but you know,
his building.
His building. And I love the difference where Braden, our ninja with the silver mask, does a very efficient zip line to the next building, where Cho is going to expend insane amounts of energy clawing his way up using the little claw glove things in his boots. I mean, he would be fucking dead after climbing up there. I mean, he's a ninja and everything, but
only gravity can fatigue a ninja.
I do love.
Then we got Whack a Ninja after that. I love that. Just like all of a sudden it's like the silver mask and then it ducks down and he always turns around a second too late, peeking around a corner. All it needed was some Benny Hill music to top that off.
I do love the caltrops to the face. I don't know if that would kill you, but
that would hurt. Okay, where did we
we
grow
need some
up?
Bactine.
You've been out walking around and run your foot into the side of a cactus, or maybe even tripped. I
Oof,
tripped
yeah.
once and I got some in my cheek.
Yeah, I got one in my knee sometimes with a cactus. Yeah.
Doesn't kill you. It's just like crazy, but you can take it right out.
Yeah, you can take it right out.
Yeah,
Caltrops would probably hurt if you slipped on some ball bearings and went face down into them. But you pull them out, some Bactine, a little bit of Neosporin, you should be all right.
Maybe lose an eye depending on how you land.
Mm-hmm.
If you got no self-preservation, don't turn your head. That's fine.
I do like that he was carrying these little darts in his mouth all the way through this. When the guy pulls his mask down, he blows, and the guy's like, ah! These henchmen are just taking it left and right, getting your arms cut off, getting your knees sliced up, caltrops to the face. Just
the deadly knee cuts, though. Wow, those poor guys.
Yes, fatal knee cuts.
It's one of those things that's like, man, I hope that's not how I go, with a deadly cut to my knee.
So Braden has Kathy captured in the hot tub of doom, and Kane in the sauna of doom, and they have one guard watching them, and this is just an excuse to see Kathy in a wet t-shirt. Not complaining.
Yeah, not being held down by a chubby dude.
Yes. Yeah, Professor Toru Tanaka. But the final duel, though, to me, that was the best part of the movie. Still, but even as a kid, I thought that was the peak of martial arts action. It could not get any better for me when I was 10. Like, how are they going to top this? And then, of course,
the raid.
The raid.
That's how they're going to top it.
Yeah. But I love that he's pulling out all the stops. Where did he have time to put like a fake standee of himself and also a fake arm in the hot tub and stuff like that? He's fast.
Only a ninja can hide a mannequin. He was in his mouth next to the darts.
Mm-hmm. I like when Cho gets thrown off the side of the building.
He had in his ninja wallet.
Hold on. When Cho gets thrown off the side of the building, and you can tell a total mannequin. Mm-hmm. But that part was so fucking awesome. They're like on the tennis court fighting, and they're doing their little hand movements, the little gang sign kind of it wasn't the 5 elements of power or whatever.
There is
here's the church, here's the steeple. Look inside, here's the people.
There's a dude who obviously has some mental challenges called Death Sentence on social media. And he has studied the fighting styles of Batman and Vegeta and Goku. Mm-hmm. And then he did one of these like backyard fights and got his ass whooped. And do you know who Demetrius Johnson is?
The name sounds familiar.
Mixed martial arts fighter.
Uh-huh.
Hands down, probably, in my opinion, the best. Unless you want to talk like, you want to put John Jones and stuff in there. Demetrius Johnson is amazing. And they contact and get them together because this guy he wears like a Naruto headband everywhere he goes. Uh-huh. And he wants to train with Demetrius Johnson. And he's being really nice to him, but then occasionally just like busts out some stuff and whoops his ass. And he's just like, there's levels to this Demetrius. And it's like, I know, but he's one of these guys. He's like doing all this shit. And he's like, what's that for? What's that going to do? Did you just get your ass whipped? Why don't you listen to what I have to say?
The fight to me as a kid was just top notch. I love the blood fountain once Braden finally gets it, and you can see the tube sticking out.
Yeah,
just, blood just shooting out, and it was amazing.
I love me a good samurai film with blood spray. Mm-hmm. Just a single cut.
I like that he had a little mini torch, shooting flames at him, and just he went out all out with all the ninja tricks.
That's where he kept the mannequin. It was next to the kerosene he had in his sleeve.
This movie is wonderful. If you have not seen it, if you want to just sit back and watch an ultimate canon pictures movie, Revenge of the Ninja, it will scratch that itch if you just want to watch something just cheesy from the 80s. And it's not, you're not going to learn anything except for the desire to be a ninja.
There's no subtext. There's no deep meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Those movies are great occasionally, but sometimes this is a carbohydrate movie. This is not a protein movie. This is frozen pizza, delicious Totino's Supreme that you've put a little bit of extra on it yourself before you baked it and folded that thing in half like a taco and eaten it until you had nothing but regrets movie.
Yeah. And you got to reach for the Tums later.
Yeah. Well, I would now.
But yeah, check this movie out. It is so good. It is just this is probably one of the reasons that we started doing the podcast. We're like, hey, we should do a movie podcast. We could talk about Revenge of the Ninja and Enter the Ninja and Conan and Beastmaster.
Well, I wanted to talk about Conan right off the bat, but you're like, we got to wait till it's a special number.
Yeah.
It was a long ass wait.
Yeah. But I think we should do Beastmaster again because that was one of the prime ones. Anyway, check this movie out. This is one of the reasons we did the podcast. It is just, a classic. Revenge of the Ninja, 1983. Check it out. We'll also be back next week for Event Horizon.
Looking forward to that.
Hopefully David will be back. If you want to send us an email, rvspodcast222@gmail.com. I'm going to start trying to be a little bit more proactive on our social media, but I've been super busy watching a lot of shitty movies and going to concerts and things like that. So we're on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
That's about it. That's
and
about it.
buymeacoffee.com if you want to send us, help us out a little bit. We can do that. Also on our Buzzsprout page, you can send us a text or something if you want to comment. So thank you so much for listening and have an amazing week.
Yeah, everybody have a good week.
Thank you for listening to the Retro Video Store Podcast.